It's okay.
I just finished watching the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Primal, and man was it depressing. It was freaking amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it was also extremely depressing. I mean, I was crying. I was legitimately crying. Tears falling, upside down smile, everything. But from what I can say, this season of Primal so far, these are the first 2 episodes, just as good as the first season. But just be prepared to shed some tears. So the first episode, we saw a teaser to this already where Spear tries to go into the water but fails because the current is so strong and he's never had to deal with anything like this. Taking out his anger, he decides to build a raft. It's so cute to watch Fang helping him and for Spear to also employ the same tactic that Mira had used only earlier to get Fang to go where she needed her to go. This is so wonderful because we get to see more bonding between Spear and Fang as they embark on their adventure across the big water, leaving their home island for the first time together. Just imagine if Fang didn't meet Spear, she would not have all these adventures, and it wouldn't make her a better survivor. I thought it was badass to see this caveman surfing with his dinosaur on this raft, but pretty soon they realize that the ocean is very unforgiving, as it is beautiful. I like the attention to detail with the lighting that you can see on Fang's body, as there's a meteor shower overhead, and as vast as the ocean is, you can also see how vast the sea is. I think it's a really, really awesome comparison between the vastness of the ocean and the vastness of the universe right over their heads. Just look at that comparison. And the comparison is even made larger when you imagine that there are creatures under the ocean right now that look very alien to anything they've ever seen before. And there are probably creatures above them also in the vastness of space that they've never seen before. And then you see the moon rising above the water and everything just looks so dreamlike. They don't even realize that all of this is happening. It's so breathtaking. One of the things I love about Primal is the gorgeous, breathtaking, out of this world, surreal yet grounded in some substance of reality visuals that we get. It is just so breathtaking. I mean, every shot that you see in this episode can be wallpaper. As a matter of fact, in the entire show, most of what you see can be wallpaper that you can use for your computer or a mural. This shot in particular was just so wow, just some gliding on the water. Like if you're at the right angle, you cannot decipher where the water begins and where the sky or the vastness of space starts. Like they're just all one thing and it looks as though they're floating out in the great beyond. And I think there's a parallel to this because they're going out into the unknown. The world above them is completely unknown, but it's also unknown. The world that they're going into, journeying across this big water, is also very unknown for them. They've never experienced anything like this, either of them. And for the first time, they're out of their comfort zone. Like, Fang is used to hunting and killing animals. Spear is used to hunting and killing animals. They're both badasses. They're both used to fighting, and they fight for each other and their families for what they believe in. But this is the first time they are actually venturing out into completely new territory for both of them. And it's so amazing because you're getting to see them experience this for the first time as you as the viewer is also experiencing it for the first time. Like before, we were just going into their lives and picking up where they left off. Something tragic happened, but for the most part, that was their life. Hunting, killing, protecting. We were, as the audience, privy to how they already were living before we got there. Now, as the audience, they are also in our shoes experiencing things for the first time, venturing out into the unknown to save Mira, and doing so with basically no food, no water. They have no idea. Like, Spear probably can't conceptualize in his mind how vast the ocean is, and you can tell. And then you see him scared for the first time when the whales pop up. Was cracking up at that part because it was just his raw reaction. Both of them were terrified because imagine you're on this open thing. The only thing you know about water is that there are things in it that that you can eat. And Spear did have experience before with large creatures in the water, with that mosasaur or whatever it was that was hunting Mira, so he has seen that before. He's seen sharks before. But these creatures, the humpback whales, are on a completely different size level than those things that they've seen before. He's seen crocodiles that were bigger than Fang, but he's never seen things that were bigger than those. So these things are extremely large, and they live all the way out here. This is completely alien territory for them. And I love how Jenny Tartakovsky, the animators, just draw the parallels so well, because it looks as though they're floating in space and there's just darkness and a backdrop of glittering stars, which they probably don't even know what they are or what those things even are glittering in the background. All they know is there's just space. And then something just pops up from under you that you didn't even know was there to begin with. It's making these haunting, ghostly sounds. I mean, this must be terrifying for them. We look at it from the safety of our little nests and our couches and stuff, and we're like, wow, that's so badass and beautiful. I wish I was there. No, you don't. Because if you were actually out here in the midst of all of this, you'd be shitting yourself. First of all, you wouldn't survive. The fact that Fang and Spear survive this, that's a testament to, yes, plot armor, I know, but also to how they're used to going long periods without food and water. That helped them tremendously, going across the ocean like this, and also having to deal with other things. I love also seeing the humanity and animalistic nature of Fang and Spear, because even though they have faced off many enemies before, whenever they encounter something that's completely new to them, they don't act like, oh, well, I got this, it's no big deal. No, you can actually see that they're terrified. There are a few times in the show when Fang and Spear showcase that they are terrified, even though they can handle themselves, and it's really awesome. So yes, aesthetically and visually pleasing. They do a good job with passage of time and us realizing that, wow, this journey is really long. There are often shows that we get lost in basically the timeline, because you're like, I'm watching this, but how much time has gone by? They did that with the Plague of Madness episode, and that was fine for the way they did it. It's left up to interpretation. It could have been a few days that sauropod got infected, or it could have been just there and then. You don't know. But for this, I think they make a point of it showing how long the journey is, so that we can see the vastness of the ocean and how completely at the mercy of nature they are in this long, vast, that's the best word I could come up with, this just vast beyond that just seems never ending. For the first time, Spear even looks into the water and he's like, there are no fish. I love that there's no dialogue here. You don't have to hear him speak or know exactly what he's saying. You just know from his frustration after Fang is telling him she's hungry, when he dives into the ocean and he is looking everywhere, he's obviously looking for food. And I love how they set this up in the previous episodes of the first season, because every time he's ever gone into the water, there was always fish on his island, or his wherever they were coming from. He is in this place where there's so much water, and he's like, there are no look how vast this is, just pure water just everywhere, but no food, really? Fang is getting frustrated, and she's like, hello, I'm hungry, what are you doing? And he's trying to tell her, bitch, there's nothing here. I'm telling you, why don't you come here and look? I am seriously, like, doing my best, going everywhere I possibly can, going up, going down, going west, going east, going north. There is nothing. This part broke my heart, because you see Fang, I'm like, what is that hanging out of her mouth? And my partner is watching with me because I got him into Prime and he likes it now. He's like, that's her tongue. I'm like, oh no. You could see her tongue is not that nice pink anymore. She's severely dehydrated. She's breathing hard. The sun is just beating down on both of them. And I felt really bad for her. I felt bad for Spear too, but I feel more bad for Fang, because she had no idea what was, you know, this is a first for her. Spear is the one who wanted to come out here, and he had an idea of what he was going to do, but Fang had no idea. She went in there completely innocent, not knowing what the hell was going on. She just followed him and got basically tricked to go onto the raft, but it's not like she was going to leave him. So she had no idea, and imagine you going after one of your dogs or one of your loved ones, and you don't want to leave your dog behind on the island. Of course you wouldn't. So you bring your dog with you out on the raft. Now, we knowing the ocean, now we can say, okay, you need to bring a lot of food, sunscreen, something to cover yourself with, a sail, a paddle. I mean, but he just raw dogged it, you know, like he just went in. I don't don't think he was even thinking about all of that. It was just like, I need to get to Mirror as quickly as possible. Last time I saw, this big raft looking thing came and took her, and it just went somewhere. I don't think that Spear correctly estimated exactly how large the ocean was, so he went out there thinking he was just gonna find the ship, and he goes out there and the ship is gone because people are rowing it, so it moves much faster and cuts through the ocean because of the whole streamlined architecture of it that their raft doesn't have. They're just completely unprepared, and that makes me respect him even more. I know it sounds funny me saying that because, like, okay, he didn't prepare himself, but the fact that he was brave enough to go out there and risk his life just to save this woman without anything, and then he still survives, that's badass. I love how he jumps immediately into the ocean without any regards to his safety to get the Archie. He's wrestling it, and Fang in the background is just like, yes! You know what that scene kind of reminded me of? It reminded me of this stupid thing I saw on YouTube with the one girl where the cop comes in. It's a prank, obviously, but this woman in the background is just salivating over what's happening.
All right, shut up! All right.
Your legs are
all right. Turn around. Hey!
Like, they have the same look. They both look the same. This whole segment was amazing. I mean, these could be t-shirts. Anyway, by the end of the episode, they eat all the flesh from the turtle, which also gives them moisture because of the blood and the stuff inside the contents. It's also good that Spear can eat raw meat, so this is totally fine for him. He is a carnivore through and through. Well, clearly he's an omnivore, but he prefers meat. And this is the first time we see Spear peeing. I thought that was really interesting because we never actually see that. And for some reason, just seeing that made him even more human to me. Anyway, I'm glad they decided to release 2 episodes, because near the end of this episode, which is really amazing, they see a whole bunch of flying fish and like a coelacanth. And right after, because of the school of fish, they encounter many other predators. Ones that are much larger. Ones like the megalodon. And you can see how large this creature is compared to Fang and Spear when it almost swallows Fang whole. Their raft gets destroyed and they're completely buffeted by the storm. Something that I can feel, because the way that it looks while they're fighting off this megalodon, the waves are just crashing into them. There's lightning. There's just so much danger. I mean, they're literally fighting for their lives. It's crazy. This episode was so freaking badass. And then after they defeat the large shark, it doesn't matter because they are just buffeted right after Fang and Spear think they're safe. You realize how actually unforgiving the ocean really is. At the end, Fang is washed up on shore of some completely different place. And just seeing her freak out, calling for Spear and just running up and down, wondering what's going on, where she is, where he is. I mean, she's completely distraught, and I'm like, are they gonna leave it there? Yes, they are, and it's a big cliffhanger, and I'm like, thank goodness, we have another episode to watch right after this. I was dying. That was such an amazing adventure. There are so many movies that we have nowadays that don't come close to what the quality and sustenance that this show gives us. I mean, you actually feel like you've eaten a big, full meal, and it was a wonderful meal with variety and fruit and vegetables and fish. When you watch this show, I swear to God. I gotta say, season 2, episode 2 of Primal Shadow of Fate had to be one of the most amazingly depressing episodes I have ever seen. Oh my God. It felt so good. I cannot believe the animator and the story writers did this. It was so expertly done. The way that they brought us on this mega high, and then they just dropped us like a sack of rocks. Oh my God. Like, I was so angry, I was depressed, I was crying, like physically crying, and upset because in this short space of time, I was made to feel hopeful, and then they just took that away. Oh my god. So for those of you who've not watched, please watch. I don't know why you're here. Maybe you want to figure out what happens before you go and watch. Maybe you're one of those people who like to get spoilers before you watch something because it makes you want to watch it. I really think that going into it with the experience, just the raw experience, is the best way to go for this specific episode. If you have been warned. Anyway, so Fang is depressed. She's left wondering where Spear is. She has no idea, and she obviously has been waiting on the beach for quite some time. I imagine this must be really hard for her because for the longest while it has been just her and Spear. Since she's lost her children, she's not been with any other dinosaurs or anyone else. And I can tell that Fang is also a very social creature. Just seeing her on the ocean bed here, the shore, just utterly depressed because she thinks that Spear is dead and she's just waiting for him. We don't know how long, but it's very sad to see. I hate seeing her sad or hurt because to me she's just so innocent, and you know, you're like, okay, look at other dinosaurs, they're innocent too, but we know her personally. It's the difference between seeing your pet get hurt and seeing a wild coyote get hurt that eats other pets. So Fang smells something, and I really love what happens next. She is seeing all of this for the first time. She sees something in the distance. She thinks it's Spear. I know it's not Spear. It's just the trees. And you can see her really going through some severe separation anxiety, not knowing where Spear is. You can see her utterly distraught and sad. And then a dinosaur, we know those are dinosaur legs, goes charging by. She is like, all right, what the hell was that? And she goes to investigate and smell. And she sees some claw marks in the dirt. Now, this part had me cracking up, this scene, because I'm like, at first, like, okay, that's freaking creepy. And then it just turned funny, and then you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. It was awesome. The way that they executed this. I am still over the moon that they're able to tell stories like this without even using dialogue. So anyway, Fang is walking. She's not knowing what she's going to expect. And then there's just fucking theropod just standing there, not doing anything. She growls at it, and it's just standing there. And at first I'm like, is it a freaking statue or something? Like, what's wrong with it? It's literally just staying. If I play back the scene with the sound, you're gonna be like really creeped out because of the behavior of the animal. You're like, okay, something wrong with this picture. I didn't know if this thing was trying to trick her, to lead her into a pack of other things, because it's acting, the way that it behaves, it's very coyote-like. It's something that you see coyotes do with dogs. They'll be in the distance making these calls and noises to get you to chase them. And everyone makes these videos thinking, oh, they're just playing. Look how cute it is. Look how cute it is. And it's trying to say, come chase me, come chase me. It knows what it's doing. It's not playing with them. Anybody who's experienced knows that if an animal looks like that, that is a predator, and it's trying to get you to chase them, that is usually a very bad sign. And that's exactly the same behavior that this theropod was displaying. You see, right there, and then I'm like, okay, is he friendly? Why is he running away? I'm freaking paranoid. That's my trust issues going off. First, I'm like, oh, come here, come here. And then you follow him, and then next thing you know, there's a set of jaws even bigger than the ones that you saw before. I mean, for all we know, there's a much larger, gigantic version of this creature like we saw on Fang's Island. But this guy, he has quite the personality. I decided to call him Range, and I kind of stole that name from Please Be. It's a YouTube channel that I watch where he just makes friends with bugs. And there was this wasp that was actually very friendly. He befriended the wasp. The wasp was very friendly. Of course it was, because he was feeding it. And he called that wasp Range. And this dinosaur kind of has the same personality. So I just gave him the name Range, like Ranger. But Range is very curious about Fang, and I like the way he acts because you can see so much personality in these characters. He is looking at her. You can see he's mischievous. He's very handsome. He's just like, ooh, what is she? I've never seen her before. A female that looks very different. Huh, that's interesting. He's more curious about her. I don't see any aggression in him whatsoever. I thought there was like, okay, why was he freaking, why was he playing dead? When she saw him, she was like, When Fang went into it, she's like, I see you. What are you doing? And he's like, made you look, and then he just runs away. He's a freaking player, bro. You can tell. I don't think this is the first time he's dealt with females. I think he knew that Fang was a female, and he just wanted to see if she would chase after him and to kind of gauge her reaction, because Range is the kind of character, it seems, that he doesn't do what you think he's supposed to do. He's very adventurous and spontaneous, and I mean, he's the kind of guy that all females claim they want, but then, you know, he cheats on them with a whole bunch of other females. But then you obsess over him because it's like, but I had so much fun with him though, right? That's kind of what Range is. Range is basically a Chad. And this was probably his whole territory before Fang came in. And I'm speaking from experience because when I was like a few years when I was in junior high, I dated someone like that. No, it wasn't a dinosaur, but he acted the same way, and I was naive and stupid. We see that Spear has finally washed up on shore. I was so happy to see that Spear was okay. Some people take him that are clearly paler than he is. Then later, Fang is hunting because she's hungry. She's been on the ocean for a while, and it's really interesting to see the dynamic here, because what is happening in this episode is that Fang and Spear are basically interacting with people closest to their kind. People who are kind of different, not exactly the same species per se, but who you can breed with and who have the same behavioral, social stuff going on. So it was really interesting to see that Fang was interacting with this other dinosaur. It's so cute to see her get a taste of her own medicine. She's trying to chase this thing, and this dinosaur is doing to her what she used to do to Spear, and you can tell he is much faster than she is. She gets all competitive with him, and she's like, no, I saw it first. I'm gonna get it first. And this poor creature is like, I'll take you, I'll fight you. And then the two dinosaurs come out from both ends. I feel so bad because they just start ripping him to shreds. But this was particularly interesting because I find that things on this region, I don't think it's an island, or maybe it is, because we see the Celts. People were saying they're Celts, so Scotsmen. You can see that this is Scotland, and it's kind of, you know, it's got its own little islands. I am wondering, because, okay, Faroe Islands, I mean, those are cold areas. I mean, they're cold areas that we've seen in Primal, so they do have cold areas, but where they came from was mostly tropical. And I know that, you know, we're like, oh, it's north now, so it's going to be more cold up there, but climate was also different back then, so it's possible that Fang and Spear probably came from somewhere over here, or an island similar, or just some fantasy island, because the time that it took for them to get to Scotland, or someplace that would have been Scotland, I guess, it didn't seem that long. So, you know, they would have been dead by then if that were the case. And they washed up on the shores of this, so they probably washed up on the shores of this area. I don't know, what do you guys think? Were they even on this island before? Were the Celts even in Scotland at the time, or did they migrate there? I don't really know. It is interesting to see them showcase that. Fang is basically growling at this guy, and he's growling at her, but like I said, he's a player. He knows how to get the females to like him. He's like, oh, I could get this if I want to, because you could tell he's a male because he is much larger than she is and much more muscular. So he's growling at her and she's growling at him, and then he just gives up. He basically gives it to her, not because he's intimidated, not because he couldn't get it from her if he wanted, just because. Oh my god, this was so cute. I was dying. Oh my god. I'm such a girl. I was squealing the whole time. Like, they're so cute together. Oh my god. I could just hear Can You Feel the Love Tonight playing in the background. Spear wakes up in a witch area, and I know he's scared out of his mind. He remembers having broken his arm or dislocating it, and this witch woman who looks, honestly, if I woke up to that, I'd be scared too. Of course, he's scared, and he is smacking all these people around. I did notice, though, that even though the Celts try to, you know, subdue him, he never kills any of them. He just beats them. He's showing amazing restraint here, and there's this one one guy that looks like Michael Fassbender. Come on now, that looks like Michael Fassbender. I don't know why this specific character reminds me of him, but after they corner Spear, who is hurt, the character goes in the way, and he's like, guys, stop it. You're scaring him. He's just scared. Relax. Why is his whole head below? Oh my god, I'm sorry. Clearly that's, I guess it's a tribal thing or something, but I don't know the native language you're speaking. Obviously it's an old, not Gaelic, but it's an old Scottish dialect, and I like that they don't really reveal what it is or translations for it, because we're supposed to be seeing it through the eyes of the characters and us seeing it for the first time as well. So just like we wouldn't have captions if we were to meet people like this for the first time, it doesn't make sense for them to put captions here. And they do have captions, but they're not in English. So anybody who understands the language, fine. But from his body language, which is something that it seems as though Jendy Tartakovsky is really big on, using expressions and body language, the guy is telling them, stop, he's just afraid. You're scaring him more. Relax, my friends, relax. And Spear stops as soon as he realizes, okay, they're not attacking. See, look at him. Seriously. I don't know why that's what I see. I just see that. Like, the hair, the ears, the facial structure. Looks just like Michael Fassbender. Of course, Michael Fassbender looks way better than this person, but still, just like it was touching when the theropods were interacting with each other, discount prehistoric Michael Fassbender here tells them to give him some water. They know they don't speak the same language, so he says, see, water, it's okay. Spear understands. He's not stupid. He's like, get the hell away, get back. And Spear doesn't trust these people. He's in a lot of pain, but he's like, I'm gonna stay armed until I get my fix. The guy gives him food. He's doing everything to be non-threatening. And once this guy smiles, and Spear smiles back at him, oh my god. Oh my god, I was so happy. I was so happy. This is the first time Spear has gotten human interaction outside of Mira. Remember, he had a wife, he had kids, and I'm pretty sure he had a family before that. But where he was living was so hostile, I wouldn't be surprised if all of his family ended up dying, or they just left each other because they had to probably go across long distances, spread out so that they wouldn't be breeding with each other. So they probably spread out to different homes, and his territory had his wife and his kids, and they would have grown up together. And then Spear was all by himself for all that time until Mara came into the picture. So seeing someone show kindness to him and seeing him feel completely at ease and trust these people made me feel so warm inside. Likewise, seeing Fang be followed by Range, she's like, why are you freaking following me? He's like, I'm not following you. What do you mean? You're going where I'm going. It's so cute. Clearly he has a crush on her. And then she ends up having a crush on him. And you can actually see the both of them bonding. I mean, the two get high together. He shows her, hey, eat these fruit, bro. Trust me. Bro, don't knock it till you try it. You gotta come eat these with me, bro. So she eats them, and then both of them get high off their rockers. I mean, the greatest way to bond with someone is to freaking get high with them, and it's so cute. Watching them get, like, plastered, and then you can see, like, oh my god, it's so great. You can see them getting closer and closer. Like I said, I don't know how much time has passed. I mean, enough time has passed that she has bonded with him. It's probably weeks, maybe a week, who knows? I mean, Spear is also being treated for his arm, and we do see that his arm gets better. So it's probably like weeks that we're talking about, and we just don't realize it in the sense of us watching here and now, and it's just one episode. We're not getting that passage of time. But they narrowly missed each other, and Spear is in this village. These dinosaurs are bonding close enough that you can see that Fang starts to get like, okay, I don't want to admit it, but I totally like him. Spear is treated with some voodoo magic. Don't know why putting shit in a wound when you have a broken arm is going to heal you. I think the best part of this was seeing Fang bond with Range and seeing Spear bond with other humans. Like, there's a great parallel here, and I think it's that even though Fang and Spear love each other so much, they flourish and thrive when they are with their own kind. There's a sense of, hey, I can hear you, I can communicate with you, I can make love to you. We also learn that Spear is a freaking animal whisperer. I love him. He gives me some INFP vibes. The snarling dog, he ends up befriending the dog. out of nothing. Like, he just looks at him. And the dog shares his meat with him. I mean, there's so much goodness in this. And then Fang's boyfriend is like, I mean, it's clearly that they're together. They're a pair now. He wants to show her something. It's easy food. He's like, you know what? I can't wait to do the POVs for this, by the way. But he's like, you know what? Okay, now it's time to show you the greatest thing ever. Have you ever had something so soft and so succulent and it's so freaking easy to eat? And she's like, no, what are you talking about? Okay, I gotta show you this. You gotta see this. And then he goes to the village and she follows him, and there are the Celts, Spear's new friends, which Range just kills because we forget he's a fucking dinosaur. We forget that Fang is a dinosaur. They would eat people if they could, especially if they're easy to eat. And the thing that I like is that Fang sees this, and you could tell, like, oh my god, she's like, I didn't really think about eating humans that way, because she befriended a Neanderthal, and Mira is a Homo sapien. These people, I believe, are Homo sapiens. So in Fang's mind, she's like, ooh, okay. But she sees this guy going after her friend, her boyfriend, and she's like, no, I'm gonna kill you because you're gonna hurt someone I love. And Fang only kills when she has to, and then Spear comes out. Oh my god, the whole thing was a fucking nightmare. Can you imagine if you set your dog free, right? Let's say you have a Shiba or a wolf dog or a husky, whatever it is. If you're not around and that dog is with other dogs that are hunting other people's animals and tearing them apart, your dog, as much as you love your dog, will join in and kill those other animals because the other dogs are doing it. They are dogs. People forget that when we own dogs, they are essentially domesticated wolves. They are essentially wolves. They just were bred to look different. A dog can breed with a wolf and have fertile offspring. And everyone forgets that when they eat their shit or roll around in diarrhea or in really stinky things or lick their crotch. Everyone's like, ew, you're not supposed to do that. And we all forget that they're animals and they do not respond the same way that you would. Wild human beings that still live undomesticated, because human beings now are domesticated. They call themselves civilized. They really aren't. They're just domesticated. They probably do some things that you think are really inappropriate as well. But that's the way that they've always been doing it, because at the core, human beings are animals and they're wild. So it would be embarrassing if you're like, okay, Spear comes out and he's like, the look on his face like, Fang? And she's like, oh my god, oh shit, hey! Hey! I think it was a double-edged sword there. I think she was looking at him and she was like, oh my god, you're alive! Oh shit, I wasn't eating him. So then she's embarrassed because she's like, she can't even get a chance to introduce her boyfriend because her boyfriend sees human beings as the enemy, as food, as a threat, whatever. And it's clear that he's not killing them to eat them. I mean, maybe he's eating some of them, but he's killing them because it's fun. He's an animal. He's a predator. The very sweet and loving Range that we know, who's sweet to Fang, because she's a dinosaur, and probably they're not the exact same species, but it's possible that they can breed with each other in the same way that lions can breed with tigers and zebras with horses and whatnot, and donkeys with horses. He knows how to speak her language. She knows how to speak his. I mean, it is what it is, and he's sweet, and then now she's like, hey, come meet my dad, and this is how he meets your father. So of course, Spear realizes this guy's aggressive. So the both of them start fighting, and Fang jumps in front to protect Spear. Spear is also telling the other Celts, no, don't hurt Fang. I think they realized pretty early on, even though a lot of their family members were just killed by whichever dinosaur it was, they don't know, they didn't see. They trust Spear enough. He's a member of their community enough, and you can tell his arm is healed, so quite some time has gone by. He's close with these people. I think probably weeks have gone by now where he's healed. And he's now a member of their community, so they listen to him. He's also strong. He's one of the men, one of the strongest men there. So they listen to him when he says, don't hurt this dinosaur. It's okay. I think Spear is also protecting them. He doesn't want them to get too close. And for the first time, we get to see Range as a predator. An actual predator who isn't sweet and trying to get into Fang's pants. Spear tries to ride Fang, and Fang immediately bucks him off. And then he's like, no, I'm gonna go hurt you. And I was wondering at first, why did Fang buck him off? I think the reason why Fang bucked him off is because Spear jumped on her back so that they could attack the dinosaur together. And Fang was trying to tell him, no, bitch, get off of me. I'm not hurting him. I like him. He's my boyfriend. I'm not gonna join you in taking down someone I'm in love with. And it must be very difficult for Fang because, again, on the flip side of all of this, Spear tries to attack the dinosaur and Fang stops him and she's like, get away from him. She's trying to tell both of them, knock it off. She doesn't want her friends to fight. And honestly, Spear is the one that keeps antagonizing him. They both want to kill each other. And Fang is telling Range to stop. And Range does stop. To be completely fair, Range was like, okay, all right, okay, I won't hurt him. For you. So he backs off and Fang is like, this is my boyfriend. Don't hurt him. Stop it. And he's like, no. And I understand where Spear is coming from because this dinosaur just killed a whole bunch of his friends, his new friends that are his family. So he's like, no, the bitch has to die. He killed other humans. So he goes on top and he's the one who antagonizes the dinosaur. Range was fine. Range wasn't doing anything. Range gets hit in the freaking spine. Poor Fang is knocked out by a rock and I felt so bad for her. And so, of course, Range is like, fucking I tried to make nice with you and then you tried to... I mean, there's a really awesome fight that happens, and it was freaking badass. Fang wakes up and sees all of this. I mean, shit, the drama that happens in this episode is just unreal. Range is tearing up Spear. He could have killed him a few times, but I think he wanted to kill him slowly because he's like, no. Not only, you know, I don't know why my girlfriend likes you so much, but then you try to attack me? Are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? Not minding that, you know, he already attacked a whole bunch of other humans. Range sees himself as superior to humans, so how dare he? So as this is happening, Fang is fighting him off. And he is so angry. I can understand where Range is coming from because he is so angry. So Fang is just trying to get him away from Spear. And shit just goes south really fast. Really freaking fast. I was crying. I had to walk away. Like, I was actually crying. All she was trying to do was protect Spear. And as he is charging towards Spear, Fang kicks him away so that he can get some distance. And she is brokenhearted to see that she accidentally impaled him on one of the spears that the humans had put to defend their property. God damn it. I couldn't even do any, no. This was so depressing, and I feel Fang because she was in love with him, and I fell in love with him. I fell in love with Range, and even though he killed those people, I didn't want him to die, and I think he understood that she didn't mean it, and he just fucking dies, bro. He just fucking dies. And Spear is so brokenhearted. I think Spear understands, like, right at this moment, what he meant to Fang. I don't think he properly understood, but I think he realized, oh, she is in love with him. Oh no. And just the way she fucking sadly walks away, like, oh my god. So Spear walks with her. The others are not attacking. Thank goodness that they show the Celts being smart because they realize, okay, this is obviously Spear and this creature know each other. And I like how discount prehistoric Michael Fassbender, I don't know what he's saying. Again, I don't understand language, but in his body language, I think he's telling Spear, please stay. You can stay. It's okay. And Spear is like, no, he just shrugs him off and he leaves because Fang is his family. I think this guy really likes Spear. He really, really likes him. And he's like, man, this guy is like a freaking Hercules. He'll be a good addition to the family. They had just become friends. You know, he knew his wife and his kids. Like, Spear was his friend. But Spear's not gonna leave Fang. And I'm just wondering, okay, as she's walking away in sadness, what's gonna happen for the next episodes? Is she gonna hate him? She can't. She was trying to protect Spear. That was just a really awful, shitty situation. I cannot believe how good the show is. The show is so good. It had me feeling like, oh my god, adventure. Oh shit, look at that. Oh, that's so cute. We just fell in love. Fang's falling in love with that dinosaur, and we're falling in love with him, and they're so cute together. Oh no, he killed the humans. Oh no, the humans are gonna kill him. Oh no, but there's so much emotion. Like, we fell in love with the Celts. We fell in love with the dinosaur. And then both characters that we are already in love with, God damn it, man. I'm so fucking confused. It was so good. The character building in the show is insane. That being said, I need to take a break because there's so many emotions, bro. So many emotions. God damn it. I can't believe Range is dead. Like, anyway, I've gone on long enough with this video, but if you guys are still watching and you haven't seen Primal, I don't know what you're doing. You sacrilegious assholes. Go and watch the show. What are you doing? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.